One of the problems we saw, and we've seen it plenty of times before when we were running sheep, would be the fact that we weren't willing to. It would knock over the stubble. You would have your sheep in the paddocks for a week too long while you're on holidays, and you end up with a dust bowl. And it became obvious to us the compaction issue. If you would have a summer rain or whatever, and you've still got your sheep in the same paddock, well, they are compacting. They're compacting weed seeds into the ground. They're compacting the soil. There's plenty of people that have containment areas. Are you good enough to put it in there after a rain or prior to a rain and take them out again? There are benefits of having a light graze, clean up whatever may have fallen off the stalk with the wind or thrown out the back of the header or the mice and a few of these things later on. If you were to get a rain, and we sort of ran sheep on one paddock, not the other, and we were to get a rain, fine, they push all the weed seeds in, including this particular time was in a wheat stubble, the wheat into the ground, then we go and sow our barley the following year, or that same year. The old method was we'd use Treflan and it would nuke everything on top, but if the wheat's in the ground, so we just had wheat in our barley, it gave us feed too. In the paddock where we ran sheep, where we didn't, we had malt barley because our Treflan did what it had to do on the excess wheat. So that year there was a good, I can't remember exactly, but it was well over $50 to $70 a tonne difference with malt and feed. When you had a 4 tonne to the hectare crop, you do the maths. Those sheep would have to make a lot of money to pay for that 2-week graze that they got. So if you're good enough to get them off prior to rain into a contained area and back on, fine. Look, the importance of summer spraying, look, it's massively important. That can take you nearly into cropping, you might say, and you have to make sure you never have a green bridge. You cannot have a green bridge. You've got to, your paddocks have to be clean for 3 to 4 weeks before sowing from disease angles. If you just sort of keep in your head that green bridge is an issue. It has been an issue elsewhere, so there's no reason as to why it won't affect us. So summer spraying, get right onto it for all of those reasons, basically. Yeah. I often get asked, with all this residue, do you have issues with mice? And snails, certainly in summer spots, but there is no question. I reckon we have more mice than someone that's belted every bit of straw off their paddock. Because it's a great environment for them. They got somewhere to hide, somewhere to nest, build their little nests and everything else. But I think the benefits of we have to bait. We bait for mice probably at seeding most years. We have the baiter set up at the back of the seeder. So I think I say it's a small price to pay, to be honest, with having all this residue versus not. Yeah. Does I get asked about this burning stubble, does it reduce mice numbers? Well, I would say definitely not. It's tried, plenty of people what you're burning is just unbelievable in relation to thinking you're going to kill a few mice. Well, you won't. Mice, they go down probably 2 or 3 foot in the ground. They don't care if there's a bit of a bushy over the top of their head. I get asked, do we bait for snails? Yes, well, I suppose since that 2010 flood that had pretty much put a metre of water over 3/4 of our farm, snails have been an issue ever since. We do bait regularly for snails. Look, we're getting on top of them in certain places, but they're problematic, snails. If you get the opportunity to bait a snail, you basically do. And we see the best time of baiting is basically when the moisture's in the air prior to seeding. Well, we just thought we'd come out and have a look at another paddock. This is we've just a bean stubble. Our rotation again was basically canola, wheat, barley, beans in this situation. Residue management, residue spreading back at harvest time up to what we have here is just fantastic in my book, stubble cover. when you consider that you've just taken off one of our best bean crops ever. We got 25 mil of rain the other day, and we've got that moisture here already. I think everyone just should spend 5 minutes in the workshop. It's very simple. Bit of 3/8 rod, put an arrowhead on the end. You can walk out and you can just pop it into the ground anywhere you like. You can just bring up, exactly where the moisture is. There's mud on the end of it. I could find a bare spot, and I can guarantee I wouldn't be able to push it half the distance. So we talked a lot about our rotation. I've just had a quick look around. That's canola. So we had canola, and then that's wheat, barley, and the rest you can see is all these beans everywhere. So all your residue is still here. It's working for you. And to be honest, with 25 mil of rain the other day, we're in with a chance already of growing a crop again this year. I mean, I just love it. But you can just grab this soil, and it's just friable. It smells beautiful. And I say it's all to do with residue. I've always said, and I still maintain it, stubble is king. You've got stubble versus this. There's just stubble is king. Well, that's it for me. I hope you've all got something out of the way we've managed our stubble over the last 10 or 20 years. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There are grower groups out there everywhere.